Hey everyone, Ariel Adams here with aBlogtoWatch. Please subscribe to our videos on YouTube and like this video if you find it useful. Also hit the bell to be notified of our upcoming videos. This is a review on the Horage Autark 10 years limited edition. Horage is a Zurich-based Swiss watchmaker that has been around for, well, at least 10 years now. On the 10-year anniversary, I believe, is of the K10 automatic movement. And this is a slightly different version of the other Autark models that are available, and I'll get to that in a moment. Horage is a company that does a variety of things in the watch industry. They're a supplier. They make their own movement called the K10. And the in-house brand is Horage, and they have some interesting watches. This one is their take on the sensible, everyday bracelet watch. And there's a lot of things this watch does very well. And for the money, there's definitely a lot of value here. This particular limited edition version is done in a sand-blasted titanium. It's a dark titanium, it's sandblasted and hardened, so it's also scratch resistant, and I like the color. The watch has a little bit of what I will call a generic design to it. There isn't too much that screams, look, this is a different brand, but as a timepiece that is comfortable and familiar and versatile, it definitely does a lot of good, but definitely a place that Horage could improve in the future is having a little bit more distinctiveness in their design. The 39mm wide case has a side here and integrated lugs, very sort of Gerald Genta-esque integrated lugs that the bracelet connects to, and the watch also comes with a leather strap that you can attach as well, and so it's nice that it comes with both of them. Inside the watch is the company's own movement, and that is the K10, and this is a slightly special execution of the K10. It's got a special color. And what I like about the K10, in addition to the fact that it is 4 Hertz and has 65 hours of power reserve, actually it is not 4 Hertz. I believe that it is a little bit less. It's 3.5 Hertz. I'm sorry for the correction. It's a 3.5 Hertz movement, and they get 65 hours of power reserve. And as I was saying, what I like about it is it doesn't have the same architecture as other movements such as a base ETA or something like that. So it's something which is very, very different, and is also a movement that Horage sells or intends to sell to outside companies that are interested in getting mechanical movements, because that's something which is hard to do today. So let's put the watch on. From a comfort perspective, you have a very light, sensibly sized watch there, so comfort is high. Legibility is fantastic. I mean, really, how can you complain? This essentially looks like a wall clock which has been transferred to the wrist. And even the complications on the dial really don't take away from the incredible legibility you get from these wonderful high contrast hands and applied Arabic numeral hour markers. There's actually not that much lume, so it'd be really great if the hour markers themselves were luminous. You might be able to see that on the periphery of each of the hour markers is a small point of lume, and on the tips of the hands is a little bit of lume. So this isn't a high lume watch, but it'd really be cool if the hands and the hour markers were completely painted in lume. But it's not that big of a deal, and again, legibility is very, very high. This particular execution of the K10 automatic movement has a big date indicator, a power reserve indicator with a nice color-coded gauge, and a subsidiary seconds dial. And I want to return to the big date indicator because it's actually what I call a mini big date indicator. What does that mean? Well, a big date indicator is typified by having 2 discs to indicate the numeral. So there's a 1 disc here and a 0 disc, and those are their own discs. And the 1 is obviously smaller, but what you get is the ability to have a larger size date. But this is a small version of that. And you can see, of course, that they still have the 3 o'clock hour marker in there, despite the fact that there is a big date indicator. So that's pretty cool, and I like that quite a bit. And just to certify that their K10 movement is accurate, this watch is COSC chronometer certified. The bracelet, like I said, has their own unique deployant clasp, which works really nicely. It's actually quite secure. There's a little plastic on here, you might be able to tell. Again, it's not the most interesting looking deployant clasp in the world, but again, it does the job well, and it's quite secure. I think one of the easiest places for Horage to improve in the future is to give the dial of the Autark a little bit more distinctive decoration. The appeal here is in the quality of the components and the performance, but there isn't too much here aside from the logo and maybe the layout to say that's definitely a Horage watch. So they've proven themselves that they can make a well-priced product, a high-quality product, a successfully performing product, but I think the real test of a Swiss watch brand is being able to go ahead and offer some more visual distinctiveness. So I think that's something that the brand will do more of, and actually they do in their other watches. So I think that the Autark was a particular answer to a particular person's question, and as a watch lover who is a collector, I think one of the things that I want to see a little bit more of is some distinctive design. But if you are someone that just wants a good watch and appreciates that this is mechanically sound and does some things very, very well, then I think you won't necessarily mind that the design doesn't necessarily yell distinctiveness, but it's just actually a very effective wrist watch when it comes to what it's supposed to do. And for a lot of people, that's exactly what they want. So I love the distinct flavor here, even though some watch collectors are going to have a variety of statements and opinions about the Horage Autark. And again, this is the Horage Autark 10 years limited edition, limited to 99 pieces only. Price is 3,390 Swiss francs. And you can see the full review on aBlogtoWatch. Thanks.